Welcome, Michelle. So lovely to see you. Another gorgeous sunny day outside. And you are a wonderful inspirational group leader and actually a very good mentor as well. And I would just love to ask you the same questions we've been asking quite a few people now. And I've just loved all the responses. They've been really inspiring. What do you love about baby watching, and what's the impact you've seen on your children?
Oh my goodness. Baby watching is something that you can't find in a textbook. It's something you can't find in the traditional curriculum.
Yeah.
It is something that comes from within, and it is developing empathy in all the children that it touches, and it is amazing. I absolutely love it. Yeah.
And it's wonderful actually, because you're also a SENCO, aren't you? So
Yes, I am.
you've got a very broad breadth of understanding of children with different needs.
Yeah, so I've had experience of baby watching with children who have ASD, who have managed to access the baby watching very successfully, and have actually reflected on how it's impacted on them independently, and have talked about how it's helped them communicate better with people in their class. I've also had children that have barely said a word throughout their first few terms of being in year 3. And baby watching gave them a safe space to communicate in, which is amazing.
I love that, and quite a few people I've spoken to have talked about this amazingly safe space. And I'm really curious because you can do it for a whole class, you can do it for smaller groups of children. Wherever it's done, there is this wonderful accepting safe space that encourages children to explore and be more adventurous. And that's what learning is, isn't it? It's the safety, it's the feeling secure, so we can actually take risks.
Absolutely, taking risks, and I've most definitely seen that. And not just amongst specific genders, all children have the opportunity to feel that safe space and contribute. And they say such profound things at times that just I find astounding, and I learn from them too. They say things and they notice things, the little nuances between the parent and the baby, and I just think it's truly wonderful what we discover together during the sessions. And where else can you get such an amazing experience? It fills my heart with joy.
Yeah, do you know what you've touched me there, because I just thought I could really visualize it, and I thought that was just so beautifully expressed. And I just think, do you find that safe space, that really unique safe space that has developed in the baby watching, does that spill over into your everyday, into the learning environment in your everyday?
Absolutely. So I was coming into a class to do baby watching, so I wasn't actually the class teacher for that class, but it was definitely a big part of their week, and she could see some of the things that they had discovered during a session would definitely come out during the weeks following, whether it was how they were towards other peers, how they were towards the adults in the school, and making links as well with our school values, and our value-based education that is such a big part of our school. You could definitely see them making those connections, which I think is fabulous. It just is becoming more embedded at our school.
One of the other things that strikes me is as a teacher in a very busy school, one, you talked about how those values get expressed within the group, which I think is really interesting. But also you have such a pressured curriculum. Is this something worth making space for?
I cannot stress enough how valuable baby watching is in any type of primary school setting, and probably beyond that. Actually, I can see it being used in other settings too, really successfully. We've embraced it as part of our PSHE curriculum, but also through baby watching. We were provided with the resources during the training about where it fitted into other aspects of the curriculum. So you can explore so much through baby watching, and it's absolutely really quite appropriate to give that time to baby watching. You know, we're not talking about you know, hours a week. We're talking about half an hour, and you know, I think if you give that time to it, you will get your reward back in spades. Those odd occasions when the parent and baby can't come, and yes, the children are disappointed, but there is so much empathy in the room as they're asking, is the mum okay, is the dad okay, is the baby okay, you know, are there, you know, is there something we can do to make them feel better, or could we send them a message? You know, that's what we're looking for from the children, and it is giving them those tools that they're going to need to be a complete adult, really. Experience it.
No, you're right. There's something really special about that. And I think it's because it's all about relationship. You have to be there in the moment, experiencing the relationship and being part of the relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And there are so many relationships during a session. There's the relationship between the teacher and the class, the pupils, the relationship between the child, the baby, and mum or dad. Also the relationships that the teacher's having with the parent and baby too. There's so many different dynamics going on. It's just a rewarding, magical time. I can't.
That's the perfect place to stop, though, isn't it? A rewarding, magical time. You can't be higher than that. I so appreciate it. Thank you. And you are actually, you're a lovely group leader. I've come to watch you as well, and I really enjoyed the sensitivity in the way that you held the children, you know, in that real valuing space. No wonder they are then feeling so safe to be able to talk about how they feel through the safety of talking about how the baby feels.
Absolutely. Yes, we were very lucky with the mum and baby we had when you came and watched me. And I thank you for those lovely comments. But I had a good trainer. And also Griselda as my mentor. So I've been blessed on my journey so far as well. So thank you.
And it's just to talk briefly about mentoring, actually, because mentoring is something, like I said, it's not really a textbook activity, is it? Mentoring actually is quite important.
Mentoring is important because sometimes, you know, in the moment of leading a session, you don't pick up on all of the successes or the moments that you've experienced and the questioning, and for someone else to come back and mentor you and say, oh, what about when this happened, and you've just done it as part of the session, but on reflection someone else watching you has seen what a profound impact that has had during the session, or you know, or on a child, then to get that feedback is quite rewarding and endorses what you're doing, and also gives you an opportunity in a safe environment after the session to talk about things that, now what about this, what do you think I should do, you know. So for example, for my original group, we split it into 2 sessions because they were quite a challenging cohort, and for the mentor to kind of be able to sound that off of them and talk about organisation of the grouping, and you know, how to support challenging situations is really, really useful, really useful.
And I think that's so profound, because actually every group, although the framework is the same and it has, you know, huge impact, every group is uniquely different because the people within it are.
Yeah. So for example, I've done an observation as a mentor very recently, and I'm seeing it from the other perspective now, and it's definitely exactly how you've said. You know, this is a different group again, and the person I was mentoring kind of said, "Oh, I'm not sure how this was going to go," and it was a fantastic session with loads of different types of questioning, and you know, I felt privileged to be part of that session and see what was going on, and to be able to encourage the teacher to move forward with her baby watching.
And I'm also curious about whether you use that sort of system of decoding the relationship that we use in baby watching, if you use that outside of baby watching.
Absolutely, actually. I have used it in my own personal life, actually, at times, with my own children. And most definitely it has impacted on my practice at school as well, and how I think about things. Yeah, definitely been more reflective in my approach, I would say.
Yeah. Michelle, it's a delight as always to talk to you, and so I look forward to the next adventure at your school and coming to see what you do next.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you. I'm really glad to be here today.